Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are in the world. This is Howie, and I'm here to help you win with money. Today is January 15, 2021. We are at the end of week number 2. In this episode, I am going to show you all the transactions. I'm going to copy from ETrade, paste it into my spreadsheet, do a pivot, examine how much we made or lost this week, and maybe we'll talk through a couple of the trades that went on this week. So stay tuned and see how much money I made. If you are on Facebook, join me in Facebook group Investing 102. This is where you can level up your investing knowledge. So let me copy the transactions out of ETrade, and then I'm going to paste it into my pivot table or into my Excel. Then we're going to paste it into Excel, and it should look like that. Let me grab some more transactions. And here it goes. Just copy this down. And then I remove all the unwanted rows later, and then go back to the spreadsheet, and then you just paste that. And then I delete all these useless rows. So let me use the magic of editing, and then I'll come back and I'll talk through some of the trades. And this is what it looks like after I massage it a little bit. Again, these lines come from ETrade. This line comes from ETrade. I use a formula to derive these. I put this in myself. That comes from ETrade, and then I use this, and then I number all the trades, and I put some supporting data, and then I use a pivot table. So let's go to the top. We're gonna just go over here. We're gonna now hit the refresh button, and it will bring in all my trades for last week or this week. This is week number 2 of trading, and if you do this, it will show you how much money I made. So this week is $830, and I'm gonna now go to my pivot table for the monthly holding, hit the refresh button, and this number will change now. So this is my running total now for this year or this month. So I'm gonna copy that, paste that in here, 66 trades. So I only did 24 trades this week for a total of 66. And this is 2452.92. My trade, that should be a derived formula. Number of trades per, this is the forecasting. Okay, so let me just double check some data to make sure everything looks good, and then we'll talk through the trades that I made this week. First thing I did was go back to my detailed data, and I'm gonna put a filter on APPN, and you will see I did multiple trades on this week. So this one's gonna be a little bit hard to follow. So I'm going to try to explain to you what I was thinking as I was doing the trade. So earlier in this week, APPN was actually going down, but it was still above my... I bought this about 2 or 3 years ago. I got in at a really good price. I think I paid like $22 a share. It is now trading around 50 or so, but the highs were well over 100 and something. I don't remember all the details. Anyway, I have a cover call on this, and my cover call was going to expire pretty useless. You see, it was 17 cents. So what I did was I rolled it. So this is a single transaction. I rolled it for a net of $39. And I moved it down one strike price. So I moved it from a 75 to a 70. Now the weird thing is, one day later, this 57 cents contract is now worth 18 cents. So more than half the value has gone in one day. So what I did was I decided to roll it another $5 down for another premium of $24 difference. Then and I don't remember, the 14th is Friday. So what I ended up doing was I decided now to roll up and out. I'm adding 1 month back into this contract. But what I'm doing that is I'm going to also roll this then up $10, and let's just take a look at where this thing ended for the week. I should be fine because you see it was 55, so even the 60 contract was fine. But I'm going to roll it up for next month. So the reason I do that is if the shares start moving up, I'm not leaving money on the table, so I was safe. But I also collect a small premium, another $39. So in 1 week, this thing has made me $102 just in the options alone, not counting the cash that I used to buy the shares. And again, my cost basis is way less than the $55, and so I made money. And if you look at the chart, it looked like it's horrible because you see it hit 206, but I got in really cheap. I got in somewhere down here. I don't even remember when I got in, but I got in cheap way before this run up. But it is rebounding. I don't want to say rebound. It is going back down, but it is still fine because I made a profit and I'm making money every week on the option. So that's the first one. Let's look at the next trade. So let's go filter on Riot Blockchain. And you'll notice I'm going to do something very similar. I've been rolling down and out. Riot shares actually touched $20 this week. So you see how my strike price was in the 30s and I needed to roll down. So I'm rolling down. And then I'm rolling down and out. Now, on this one, it's kind of weird. I rolled it down all the way to $24. And then sometime later in this week, I decided, you know what? I actually think $20 is kind of low. And I think at some point, I think we're close to the bottom. So what I'm doing is, because when I added more time to this, I actually decided to start moving it back up. So maybe 24 was kind of low, but that's what I decided to do. This week I made another $57 on Riot Blockchain options. That was on top of the other $100 that I made last week. Last year I made over $5,000 just in Riot Blockchain. So I'm a little bit behind the average, but I'm okay with that. Because sometimes it's not the weeklies I made money. It's the 1 or 2 weeks where when Riot starts moving up, it gets really close, and then you make a lot of money on the premiums during those weeks. So for right now, while it's downtrending, I'm still making money. And my goal is, I actually want to keep a closer eye on blockchain and Bitcoin. I do think Riot will be trading at over $30 at some point in the future. But until then, I'm going to just keep on rolling up and down on my cover calls. I do have some cash secure puts. So I'm playing both sides of it, trying to make as much money as I can using options. The next one I'm going to filter on is Ford. So on Ford, let me explain what happened. I do have a cover call for $15. And this is now deep in the money because this week Ford traded at $25. So this is easily $10 in the money. If you want to close it, you see that it will cost me $10 per option or $3,000. Makes no sense to ever close an option for me to try to bring it, because what closing mean is you release the obligation of getting rid of your shares at 15. But in order to do so, it will cost me $3,000. So you lose all that cash. What's smarter and what's better from a portfolio standpoint is doing something like this. I'd rather lose $176. So I rolled this up and out. So I'm losing $176 today. But what I did was I moved the strike price $1 up. $1 times 3 contracts is 300. So if you subtract the 300 from 176, that's about $124 in your pocket in net gains. Now, in order to offset some of that loss, I also have some cash secure puts that I have on Ford. Now, what's unusual is my cash secure put is actually higher than my cover calls. Normally, when people are playing sort of both sides, your cover calls are out of the money, or let's say above $25, because that's where Ford is trading at. And then your cash secure put is normally under the market price. So because these are deep in the money, it's going to look weird that my cash secure puts are actually higher. So what I'm doing here is I was rolling this up and out. I moved this one. I moved my $21 put to a $22 put, which is closer to at the money. But I'm using the $48 premium to offset the loss from this. And I'll show you what I mean. So if you look at this, I have a loss here. But if you do this, at the end of the week, I only lost $127 doing this move to gain $300. Okay, so that's what I'm doing with Ford. Let me move on to the next trade. Next thing I'm going to filter on is actually on this 234. So this week I did a couple things with 234. I rode an iron condor with 39 days. I rode the untested side, which is the call. Well, I don't want to say untested side, but I rode the call side because it did seem like it was further away. Remember, in the beginning of the week, markets were showing red and was downtrending. And you can see by the price of these were fetching, like, the difference of this is so small. You see that? it was fetching 15 cents per contract. So what I ended up doing was I collected another 10 cents by adding more risk, or you're moving the deltas up. And here you'll see that netted me 20 bucks. Then I had to open a new contract here. So I opened a new one here, a new iron condor for the 234 method. So this is the, so you see last week I had a 4, this is the 2 here, this is the free, and then I rolled it down. And if you look at the premium I collected this week, so far it's $250. If you look at it since the beginning of week 1, I'm at $838. Now this portfolio is all I'm showing iron condors only because that's my challenge for this year. I'm doing a 234 iron condors. Most of these are open. All 3 of these are open. So don't forget, technically my profit will be less than $800 because you don't make profit until you start closing these. So I don't know that next week I'll be my first close, but you'll see once I'm starting this process in the beginning of the year, all you see is me opening these. Once time decays, I'm going to start closing them and open new ones. And then you can see how much money I'm making, let's say per month or in a quarter or whatever it is. But this 234 will only take $9,000 of buying power in my portfolio. And I'm going to show you how much money I can make just running this particular trade. So this is week 1, week 2. Follow me until week 52 and see how much money I made. So with that being said, hey guys, I need you to comment below. Let me know if this 234 Iron Condor SPY challenge is going to help you. I hear a lot of people complaining that they can't make money using small accounts. I can make money using a $2,000 account, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000. It doesn't really matter what the value is. By showing you this, I'm going to show you that I can make money using one trade or at least one type of trade, and I'll just repeat it all year long. And again, the maximum buying power that I'm going to ever use in this 234 is $9,000. Because you see right now, I have a 2 open, a 4 open. And that's all I have, right? Well, this one I closed it. You see that? I wrote down I closed 1, then I opened a 4, then I'm opening a 2, then I open a 3. But at any given point, I will only have a 2, a 3, and a 4 open. And then when I close one, when I close a 4, I can open a new 4. If I close a 3, I can open a new 3. If I close a 2, I can open a new 2 contract. That's all it is. It's real simple to follow. I'm going to show you how much money I make. And at the end of the year, because we're doing one particular trade using the same amount of buying power for the whole year, it's a lot easier for you to do some simple calculation. So if I made $1,000, you can say 1,000 divided by 9 is how much you made. That's how I'm doing it. I'm not going to add new cash. We're not going to worry about all the gains that you made, and we're not going to look at your portfolio dynamically changing in value. We're not going to look at any of that. We're going to keep it simple. Hey, but comment below. Share this with people who you think will need it. I know a lot of people who blow accounts or have a hard time trading and they still don't have the good feel for it. Hey, let's share my content with them. This is going to help them. I do post up my trades on Facebook groups. In Investing 102 is one of the groups that I post my trades up. Those are nearly real time. Generally, I post it within 5 minutes or 10 minutes of my trade, so you can see what I'm doing. And then my videos at the end of the week, generally, sometimes I review the same trades that I made early in the week, so you can sort of see what I was doing. And again, I go and show you the transaction log from ETrade. All this comes from ETrade except for the field that I manually enter. With that being said, hey, let's do this together. Let's do this $1 at a time. And as always, have a profitable day. Bye-bye.